Hey YouTube, what's up? Welcome back to the Practical Life. This is Ashley Nicole, and welcome back to another live. I hope you all can hear me. This is a late live on a Sunday, y'all. I am so sleepy. I haven't been this sleepy in a long time, y'all. But I saw. Now I'm sitting here. I didn't have my Sunday dinner. I didn't, got the kids ready for the week and got them put down to bed and everything. And I said, I'm gonna relax. And I came across a video that Lamor Whitehead, a video of Lamor Whitehead. I don't know if it was the church service today, um, or if this was from a different day, but this video was of him. Now, this is allegedly, let me go ahead and put out my disclaimer. This video is for pure entertainment, okay? This live right now is for pure entertainment. Anything that I discuss on my lives are for education and teaching purposes, as I am in the mental health field, and everything that I discuss relates to mental health. And I'm going to get into that. But any information that I share is fair use, and just want to make sure that everyone understands that before we get started. Now, I came as I'm relaxing, on a Sunday evening. Usually I don't come on live on a Sunday evening, but I had to come and talk about this just for a few minutes because it has to do with some of the videos. I think I did a couple of videos on Lamor Whitehead, and it kind of relates to what I was saying in those videos. So I kind of wanted to go ahead and, get my thoughts out while they were on my mind. And I saw this video of him. Like I said, I don't know if it was his service today or last week. I have no idea. But allegedly, he was in the pulpit giving his sermon, and he asked one of his parishioners to come up. And I don't know what he asked her to do. I don't know the information. I don't know if she was helping, or it when I saw the video, it looked like to me that she was, how when you go to different churches and people are praying and they are feeling the spirit and all of this, and they get up and they start to walk around and things like that. Some people, you hear them like talking in tongues and all of this stuff. Now, mind y'all, I am not one of these people who knows the Bible back and forth. I didn't grow up in the church. I grew up in a more of a spiritual household. I would say that we definitely, believe that there was something higher than us. There was a power, some kind of power higher than us. We prayed and things like that, but we didn't go to church every Sunday. I didn't go to Bible, didn't go to Bible study and all of this stuff, right? Um, I would say I probably got a lot more into the church once I met my husband, because he grew up in the church, and he would kind of guide me and teach me in some of the things that he learned, right? And so I'm not coming from a place of being one of those people. This is strictly my opinion based on my mental health background, and just my opinion just in general, right? And so it looked like this lady looked like maybe she was feeling the spirit, and she was like walking around, and they get up and they walk around and stuff like that. And y'all, this man, when she walked, it's like she kind of walked, and they're on live, I guess. So she kind of walked in the front, and you could see her, the way that they were filming. And she kind of walked past him, and you could hear her praying. Maybe she was praying or something like that. And this man put his hands, now this was on the video. He put his hand behind her neck and was like pushing her. This is what it looked like to me, pushing her off of out the way. It almost seemed like he was it appeared that he was upset that she was in his view or she was in the way, and he continued to like push her by the back of the neck. Now you could hear commotion in the background once she was off camera and he was off the camera and everything. You could kind of hear people talking, but you can't I couldn't really make out what they said. And then he goes back to the pulpit. Y'all, he goes back to the pulpit and he says, now let's get back to the word of God. And almost like nothing happened, right? And I couldn't believe my eyes, y'all. But this goes back to the video or the live that I did, or it might be a video. You have to look back on my channel, but the video is the power of discernment. And I think in that video, I talked about how after what happened previously with him, with the alleged robbery and things like that of the church, that the people that go to that church, if it were me, I would have some questions after that happened. Like, are we going to have security? Are we going to, like, how are things going to go now with our church now that that happened? But I don't know if these people, after seeing this video today, if these people have um, if they're comfortable with even speaking to their pastor or their bishop about this, right? Now, when he went back to the pulpit, he said, let's get back to the word of God. And he said, somebody was in my space. Don't be, basically like you were in my space, so I moved you out my space. I was not comfortable because you were in my space. And my what did he say? He said, my baby is here, and when you close to my baby and my family, I'm going to defend them. You close to my baby and my child, I got to defend them. That's what I'm gonna do. But what about he was like, you could come to me, but when you near my baby, this and this, right? Okay, but what happened to that attitude when them people came in the church and allegedly robbed you? Uh you said that they were close. I mean, they were close to your baby. Then they was close to the wife. So I assumed that at least one of the kids was close to the wife. So you didn't grab one of them up or try to grab one of them up. I mean, make it make sense. So, another thing that I talked about in that video was that I feel like, in my opinion, that this man is 1 foot out and 1 foot in. Like, he is 1 foot still in, like, if this was his previous life, it may be the same type of life he's living now. I don't know, because I don't know this man. That's why this is only my opinion. But it looked like he's 1 foot out of uh being like street life or whatever, or being that type of person, and then the other foot is trying to be a good person, right? He's or this is what he wants people to view him as, but he's really not that type of person. That's what it appears to me, in my professional opinion. And so the third thing is that this behavior, that whomever watched the video that we observed, it was a very passive aggressive type of attitude. It was almost like a nice, nasty type of attitude. Like, okay, I'm gonna move you out my way. But the way that he grabbed that lady was very aggressive. It appeared, it looked like, it seemed as if it was an aggressive like grab. It's one way to say to somebody, hey, put your put his microphone down and say, hey, we're filming, move to the side, or whatever. Or whomever is, helping the church, like the deacons or whatever, they may come and kind of take her by the arm and kind of pull her to the side so she won't be in the view of the camera, or whatever. If that's what it was, right? Um, but it's another thing to feel like somebody in your space and like I said, it looked like that he was aggressively moving her out of the way. So it seems like it was kind of passive aggressive to me. And the way that he looked when he was doing that, I've seen that look before. I've seen this particular behavior before. And I'm not going to say, where or what circumstance or whatever, but what I will say in working with clients and things like that, anything in the dark is going to come to light. So, whatever anyone is speculating might be happening behind closed doors, um, based on what you observe today, believe me, I've seen it. It's going to come to light. Um, So yeah, that was the third thing. It seemed to be a very passive aggressive type of attitude he had, almost like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna move your yeah, move out my way, right? But it was the way he was speaking was almost like he was speaking, trying to speak in a calm way, but you were being aggressive. Um, let's see. The fourth thing was that I was thinking, like, does this man, and again, this is all my professional opinion, but is he dealing with some type of conflict within his mind as it relates to his actions? And that's why I say he's like a walking paradox, right? Because of this passive aggressive attitude is I want people to view me in one way, but I'm really not that type of person deep down inside. And he's fighting with that. He's kind of grappling with that in his life and in his mind. It's almost like I want to be right. I really want to go in the right directions. I have the means to go in the right direction. The view that people have of me is easy for me to do right. But when he's put in certain type of situations, it's almost like a lack of self-control, or it may be a certain trigger that may trigger him to have a specific type of behavior. So I was wondering that he's conflicted in his mind based on the actions that he's showing. Like, I would wonder, and it's probably valid, but I would wonder where because I don't know how it works as far as becoming a bishop or um become or kind of going through, what is it, to seminary or whatever. I don't know the process as far as that, but anyone who has been to school, it's a process to become a certain profession. And I would wonder if there's some validity in that. Um, with him being a bishop, who is affirming that other than him, right? So yeah, so I was wondering, is this man he's conflicted with something that's going on? Number five, and I put that his behavior is contradicting the expectations that other people have of him. Because again, I don't care what anybody says. When you are in a certain type of profession, you have certain levels of responsibility, right? Just like if you're a mentor to young kids, you have a responsibility. Just like, and people can argue back and forth with this, just like, music, right? People can argue that, oh, some artists say, don't look up to me because I ain't making music, I don't want to be a role model. But that responsibility just automatically comes with that because you are affecting so many people, right? So many people do look up to you or look to you sometimes when they don't have people in their lives, when they don't have other people to talk to about certain things. In the same example with music, they might listen to music and say, "Oh, they get what I'm saying," so they start to follow that person, right? So in certain professions, especially, I would think, especially in the church, the roles that you hold, you have a responsibility to the people who count on you, to the people who look up to you, to the people who count on you to guide them, right? To people that come to you that don't have anywhere else to go, right? A lot of times I always think that there are some people who, and these are people, some people that I know that are in the church so heavy and they rely on their faith so heavily, because if they don't rely on that when things go awry, because they may not have great coping skills, they may have been through certain situations and things like that, right? And they don't have good coping skills. And so the church is the only thing that they have to rely on. And if they don't have that, then they will fall apart. So for those people, right, you have a certain responsibility to them, whether you like it or not, right? Now, it appears that he is seemingly being that type of person to these people. Like, I am the person you can count on. Like, I do have to look out for my church, right? But your actions show different, because if this lady is a member of your church and you treat her like that, that's uncalled for. That is totally unacceptable. And I don't see, in my opinion, I don't see how a church member could continue to attend services there without getting some questions answered. Like, I would be one of the members who probably wouldn't even, if I was a little bit fearful to speak up, and it may not even be fear of him doing something to you or whatever, but it's just, just fear, or anxiety about it. I don't want to say fear, just anxiety about, speaking up, or, well, what happened? Like, you really owe us an explanation. Maybe some people just wouldn't come back, right? But if you've been a part of something, I don't even know how long that church has been there, or how long members, or how long the church has been established, or how long members have been going there, right? Um, but hold on, y'all. Okay, sorry about that. I thought that was one of my kids waking up. But yeah, I don't even know how long the church has been established, right? Or how long the members have been attending. But there may be some people who just won't come back, right? Based on this additional situation. Or there may be some people that will continue to attend services there. And you will wonder why. It's because you have been a part of something for so long. He has now gained their trust. And when you gain someone's trust, you know, you they're willing to ride with you. You know what I'm saying? No matter if you right or wrong, they willing to ride. They're gonna ride this thing with you, and they are going to try to protect you. They are going to try to stand up for you. So he may have church members like that, that feel that way, and that feel that, taking on that perspective of, well, nobody's perfect and all of this stuff, right? But when you engage in behavior such as this, you've got to answer some questions to yourself and to your church members, in my opinion. Um, Number 6. So this goes to this too. And going back to how the process goes of becoming a bishop, right? who is holding this man accountable? Right? Who is holding this man accountable? I would like to think that as a bishop and that having that status, right, you have some type of mentor, you have some maybe another bishop that you confide in, um, or maybe in general you have friends, but sometimes friends ain't gonna tell you the real. And that's just the truth about it. Friends, they gonna hold it in because a lot of times people think you have, friends are really your friends, and really they praying for your downfall for real, for real. So they might not even say nothing. They might be one of those people that say, well, everybody not perfect. Don't look at social media and don't trip off of what these people saying, right? But I hope that he has somebody in his life, and this is a married man. So the first person I would think, like if it was me and it was my husband, oh, we got some talking to do when we get home. And it's not even on some, as a wife, it's a way that you speak to your husband, right? But we got to talk about this because this is no way to treat anybody, right? And we have a responsibility that's greater than whatever he is conflicted with in his head. Because I put on here too that was this like, even though they were live, and there's a lot of sermons that are live now, like, especially on Sundays, you can find any church really that's filming or streaming service. So was it that this was like a show and she got in the way, and she messed up the script, and you got that upset? Like you were deep down angry. Like if that camera wasn't there, I don't know what you would have did. That's how I feel, in my opinion. Because in some level, you knew in the back of your head, okay, we live, we filming, because you appear to be the type of person that want to put on a show, right? But then too, if you wasn't filming, I don't know what you would have did. I don't know what you would have did. Like, this is ridiculous. So, who is holding this man accountable? I would like to think that his wife is holding him accountable, right? I would like to think that he has some type of mentor. Anybody in any profession needs to have a mentor, because sometimes it could be positive. Or it's positive on all levels, right? Because sometimes mentors see things in you that you don't see in yourself. Sometimes mentors can give you an unbiased opinion, right? I've had times where, and this is tangent because I told y'all, like, talk now. I've had times where I speak to my mentor, and it may be a particular project or particular job that I say, no, I don't think I have the skills to do that. But they'll come to me and say, you got this skill, this, and this. What you mean? You'll be excellent. And then you sit back and you think about it, like, you know what? They right. I do have those skills. So sometimes they see things in you that you don't see in yourself. And when you are engaging in certain types of behaviors, or you are looking at things from a certain lens, they will give you a different perspective of looking at it in a way that you never thought about, right? So he may not think he did anything wrong, but baby, if he got the right mentor, if he got the right people around him, if he has definitely a wife that holds him accountable, baby, when they look at that tape, they're gonna say, "Oh no, this is need to be an intervention." What in the world is going on? This is definitely not how we uphold how we present ourselves, right? Then on top of that, I didn't even take note of this. I'm just thinking about this now. The reason why, one of the biggest reasons why they need to hold him accountable. First of all, he's a black man, right? So we can imagine that. Then other black men need to hold him accountable, and um people need to see that. You see what I'm saying? Because first of all, I think he has two daughters. And I believe, from my recollection, he has a daughter who's 14 years old. You mean to tell me, because you hollering about, oh, she walked in front of my daughter and this, and this, and this. Now, you didn't do nothing when the men came in the church walking in front of your daughter, but you did something to your church member who you see probably at least every other Sunday. You put your hands on her because she walked her daughter. It make sense, right? But you got a 14-year-old daughter who definitely is going to see that video, or definitely is going to hear about that video, and you're going to have to answer to her. And see, this is where I always talk about when people have to think about the decisions they make, because the split decision of where make a wrong turn, you have to make the proper decisions quickly, and not make decisions based on your emotions, right? Because you felt the type of way that lady was walking like that. But now you have affected so many other people based on the decision that you made in this split second. Who have you affected? Your church members? Because I'm pretty sure that some of those church members now, they didn't lost their trust. And now, if they were in a such a vulnerable state, right? You don't know what these church members going through. They may have had financial loss. They may have been going through depression. They may have anxiety, right? And this is the one place that they could come to get some type of peace, to get some type of healing for just a moment's time. And when they came today, this is what they saw. You may have some church members who have previously been in domestic abuse situations, or currently in some, and they have had to witness the person, the pastor, the bishop that they trust putting their hands on somebody. Y'all talk about the level of uh trauma, the level of reliving situations. You don't know what those people have been through or are going through, right? So now you've affected them. Then on top of that, now you affected your wife. Cause now people thinking, right? Now people thinking or have the perception, because you were so quick to put your hands on a woman, right? Because it's on video, to put your hands on a woman, that you may be doing that to her. And you may not be, but that's the perception that people are now going to have of you, right? So now people questioning her. So now she got to deal with that mess because of a decision that you made. Then your daughter, she's 14 years old. Now she has to deal with that for the rest of her life. Believe me when I tell you. Because these type of things, kids don't forget. And you could have done, and this is still her dad. Remember, I told y'all about dads now. Little girls don't care what their daddy did, what he didn't do. This situation, he could have put his hands on somebody. That's still her daddy. Okay? And she probably it may rationalize, because this is what kids do. They rationalize what has happened. He did it because of this, right? Or she shouldn't have done this. And this all depends on what he go home to tell his daughter, because I'm sure she's gonna have some questions. I'm sure the daughter gonna have some questions. Or or on the flip side, it may be a household where you better not ask no questions, because I run this. And that's problematic too. But she's gonna have to deal with this for the rest of her life because now this is where people gotta think when you make decisions because you didn't affected this girl. She only 14 years old. Now when she gets to be an adult, and it might be far you the thinking might be outlandish now, it might be far-fetched now, but baby, it's coming closer than you think, right? When she have the possibility of having a boyfriend in high school or whatever, uh when she sees certain behaviors that they may display, she's going to dismiss it. Why? Because her daddy did it and everybody was okay with it. Didn't nobody say nothing. That lady shouldn't have walked up there. That's what my daddy said. And she gonna believe her daddy. So you affected this girl for the rest of her life. So these are and like I said, you might think it's far-fetched, but these are the type of things that happen and that I see all the time. And she not even gonna realize it until one day she say, I wonder why I choose these type of men. I wonder why I'm always in this type of relationship. Because these are the things that she saw her dad do and the behavior that he displayed. So somebody needs to hold him accountable and step up and let everybody know this ain't okay. And he need to be checked. And everybody might, everybody at one point in time need to be checked by somebody. Cause I mean, people do stuff, right? And people display human behavior. And when you don't know how to, I talked about this too in one of his videos that I did. When you don't have the emotional intelligence to think or make decisions with logic instead of going off of your emotions all the time, you in trouble. You might need to be checked a few times, right? So I hope that he has people in his life that are holding him accountable and really sitting him down, talking to him and saying, "Hey, you know, whatever way that they relate to him, right? Hey, we know you top dog. We know you. You know this is your church. This is you running a lot of things. And you doing well for yourself or whatever. But we gotta call you out on this one, bro. Like you can't be walking around doing that. You can't even be the position that he in. I feel like you can't even walking around thinking that. Like this is why I would want to see the validity of, his degrees and his, and things like that. Because there's a lot of people now that call themselves a lot of stuff, but it was a kid. He was a kid, I think. This little boy might have been 17, 18 years old. I don't know. I feel like he had to be older than that. But it happened in Florida, but this was years ago, and he was portraying himself as a MD. I think this might have been on 2020 or something too, because it was a big story. And he was going to people's homes and call himself treating them, telling them he was a doctor and stuff like that. And he had paperwork, he had his degrees and all his license and stuff like that. Baby, they could print that out. They could print that out. They do it all the time. Y'all, I know y'all heard of the people printing out printing out them what they call them VAT cards or whatever they had to get when they know they ain't got no vaccine or whatever, vaccination. They print them out too. So it ain't far fetched. But I hope, like I said, I hope somebody is holding him accountable. And then the next thing I had was that, you know, this was already and go y'all have to go back to my video and watch it, a vulnerable congregation. This congregation was vulnerable before today, but now, and even when he went back to the pulpit on this video that I saw, he said, okay, now let's get back to the word of God. And he like everybody clap it up for God or amen, and they were saying it. They said, "Oh yeah, amen, amen." No, I would have been walking out. Mm-mm, mm-mm. That is unacceptable. And I can imagine that there has to be somebody in that church of in those pews that has anxiety, that has been diagnosed with anxiety. And baby, the level of panic that you gotta be in, that you may feel after seeing that, you don't know what's about to go down. Now, dang, just last month, somebody then came and busted up in here. Not today. We see the pastor putting his hands on people. What kind of church is this? I'm getting confused. So the congregation is really vulnerable now because if he don't answer questions, somebody is gonna have to answer some questions at some point or another. Like I just don't understand how this can't be the same people going to this church every week. It can't be, especially after today. It cannot be the same people going to this church, y'all. Like, can you imagine? Paint the picture. Okay, it's on Sunday. Now wait, last month the people came in and busted through the door, right? We had to go through that. Okay, 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 cool. Then now today, you walking up, you see the Rolls Royce, you see the Gucci suit, you know, you see him looking dapper, looking, just dressed down. All right. Then, so you already kind of questioning, like, oh, I'm down and out. This man got on the Gucci suit. Okay, but you going to get the word. You ain't worried about that. But then you go in, you sit in the pew, you listening to stuff. Everybody, getting a dose, of spiritual, the word and stuff like that. And then all you see is your pastor, the person that you trust, the person that you uh may have confided in, a person that you look to guide you, not only you but your family, right? And you see him get so upset to the point that he puts his hands on one of the church members. What do you think at that point? Like, tell me what y'all would do. Would y'all go back? Like, I feel like from a professional standpoint, I understand why they go back. You know what I mean? I would not be surprised if, everybody was there next week. Because again, when people put their trust in someone and they have been, in this particular instance, a part of this church for a long time and things like that, you know this is maybe not a pattern, they haven't seen a pattern or anything like that, they are going to ride with them. They're going to ride to the end, honey. They're going to take up for him. They're going to speak up for him. They're going to stand with him and his family. Um, they may say things where, uh, that relates to, that seems like they may know him better than he might know himself. That's how they feel about their pastor. You know what I mean? And to each his own. But if it's every church member, like if it's everybody in that church that feels that way, I would have more questions. Like, and allegedly he got arrested. So, so yeah. I also wonder if, sometimes when you go to church, they have assistant pastors and but that might only be for like bigger congregations, but I don't know. But I wonder if there's like an assistant pastor, because if he arrested and they keep him in there, who gonna be giving the sermon next week? That's what I wonder. Um, right. Okay. So I think I gave all of my points. Now the last, but definitely not the least, baby. If I was that lady, girl, if that was the me where he had put his nasty hands on the back of my neck, I know you as my pastor, but I don't know you like that. You push it on me, reflexes would have kicked in. Baby, my hand would have popped the mess out of him. Would have popped the mess out that man. Cause you don't have no business putting your hands on me. There is no reason for it. I remember my mom used to tell me when I was a little kid, if anybody mess with you at school, if anybody, if anybody, hit you or, whatever, or being mean to you or whatever, especially if they put their hands on you, okay, yeah, you could tell the teacher, but if they do it again and they don't do nothing, you pick up something, you try to knock them in, you try to knock their teeth out. And that's what I would have did with this man right here. You don't put your hands on me. What? Because I'm praying? Oh no. Oh no. Baby would have took everything out of me not to swing on that man. I'm sorry. Like, my reflexes would have kicked in. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Cause that was uncalled for. And now then you have this lady on video, you doing this? And it seemed like he was okay with it. Like I said, the attitude, it appeared to me that it was like a passive aggressive attitude, like very aggressive in with the hand and the movement, but in the words and the speaking, it was very like a nice nasty type of, yeah, get out of here, yeah, get out of here, yeah, you're not going to walk in my space, yeah, my baby's right here, I'm going to defend myself, I'm going to defend her, I have to defend her. Now let's get back to the word of God. Oh no. Mm-mm. That don't even seem right. That don't even seem right, y'all. So I don't know what, and I know I said in my power of discernment video that I was gonna keep up with this story, and I what I tell you about consistency, okay? Consistency. I kept my word, right? And so yeah, so we're going to see what happens, but everything in the dark will come to light. You can believe it. So if it's anything else that this man has done, and sometimes too, what I've seen with like clients and things like that, when a person has that type of character, when a person has that type of attitude, you know, they can't hide that for too long. You're gonna see it. You're gonna see it. But I think that he is, I don't know. I was also thinking that because, I try to look at both sides, right? Especially from the mental health perspective. Like on the flip side, is this man, is he dealing with some type of stress related to the previous incident? Right. Is he dealing with some type of trauma, maybe a little bit of, if alleged what happened before allegedly was like really a real thing. And like I said in my last video, like I can't imagine somebody just doing that because he said that he has two daughters there and he has a 14-year-old, So I'm like, any father, I can't see them just doing something like that. I can't, but baby, it's some people in this world that do something. But is he dealing with some type of a lot of stress related to the backlash from the previous incident, right? Um, and he's trying to adjust to kind of like a new type of normal for them. Because I don't know if I mean I don't follow him or anything like that. I that the previous incident was the first time I have ever heard about him, his church, and all of that. He may have been out in social media and well known, and people may have heard stories about him before. But if you weren't a church or a congregation that was kind of popular in that way, the previous incident made y'all popular, right? It basically put your church on the map. So now any little thing that he does, people are going to be looking because of the nature of what happened previously. So is he trying to adjust to his church's new normal? Um is he adjusting the trying to figure out if he needs to adjust the way that he provides sermons or advice to his church members because people are looking at him now in a certain lens? And if that's the case, then I would imagine that they can be stressful, right? I can imagine that someone would have anxiety about that. um and when people have that stress, that anxiety, if something like that, like the previous incident did happen to them, it is traumatic, right? And it doesn't seem like he took any time off for real, like he was back at the church next week, right? uh Doing the sermon, so he hasn't really had time uh to kind of think about, right, and sit with what really happened at his church that day, and how it has really affected everybody and how we're going to move forward. The obvious thing probably for him is we need to pray. This is usually what they say. We need to pray more. Keep everybody in your prayers. But a lot of times, and I'm not gonna say prayer doesn't work, child, because prayer works, okay? But you've got to put, in my opinion, you've got to put something practical behind that. And people need to know not only to pray, but how, specifically how are we gonna get through this? Like, what specific steps are we going to take as a church, like as a whole, not just you, as a whole, to get through this situation and for what's to come, right? So it seems like he went right on back to work. He went right on back to work, and probably because he had to, you know what I mean? And that's what people do. That's normal, but you got to take some time to think about those things, right? And so when you don't, that's when, you know, you not being able to cope with things that happen, and you start projecting what you're feeling inside, because again, we don't know if he has a mentor, we don't know if he has a proper social network. um you know, we don't know if he has someone that he can really, I mean, of course, he probably confides in his wife, but sometimes you need a third party, like an unbiased type of opinion, because your spouse, they're going to tell you things, of course, that, oh, it's okay, and lift you up and things like that. Now, not that they won't hold you accountable, but you need somebody that's really, really, really going to give you the real, that's outside of the situation. So if he has not, he doesn't have anyone like that, it's almost like he's holding everything inside, really. Especially too, baby, if he 1 foot out and 1 foot in. Because if he 1 foot out and 1 foot in, baby, he was thinking about if that previous incident, if it really did happen. Oh, he was thinking about what he was getting ready to go do if he went 1 foot out and 1 foot in. He was thinking about what he was getting ready to go do, or what he was gonna call somebody to get ready to go do. Uh, in my, this is just me thinking about stuff in my head, y'all. He probably didn't, but I just be thinking. So yeah, so he didn't take any time off or anything like that. And now he has all these feelings inside about what has happened, what hasn't happened, his plans, right? Of for his church. Maybe they haven't came to fruition yet. Maybe the process is a little bit slower now because of things that have happened. So it's like now you holding it in. So any little thing that happens, you're gonna project what you're feeling on somebody else. And that could have been what it was. She was just the person that got it. You know what I mean? She was just the person that got it, projecting what he is really feeling at this moment, at this time, on somebody else. And that's another reason why we need therapists. That's why people need to go to therapy. That's why people, when they feel like, oh, I tried therapy, but it didn't work, that's why you need to keep trying because we have got to learn this stuff. We have got to learn these coping skills. We've got to learn how to manage our emotions better. Um, and you know, learn about emotional intelligence and how we need to start thinking logically. You know what I mean? We let emotions get in the way too many times when we're making decisions. So yeah, so I had to come to y'all and talk about this and get my, the thoughts that I had at the top of, in the front of my mind. I said, let me go ahead and hop on and see, let me kind of get my opinion on this. So I hope though that I was able to kind of bring value, as well as, along with my opinion for this live. I hope you all are doing well. Hope you had a great Sunday. Nothing but good vibes and good vibrations for the week ahead. I hope you all have an awesome week. If you haven't already done so, make sure you take some time to engage in some type of self care before the week starts. Um, and, set yourself up for success for this week. If that means writing down the most important things that you want to get done, what's one thing you're going to do consistently for this week, make sure that you kind of pinpoint that so that you can, again, set yourself up for success. But again, thank you so much for listening to me provide my opinion and my, this little bit of this little bit of entertainment about the bishop money on this good Sunday evening. Again, I hope I brought value to this live. Thank you all who have subscribed thus far. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting on? This channel is all about mental health. This is where you can get your questions answered for you or someone else. If you are trying to figure out how to manage your mental health in the workplace, I am the person for you. All of the information will be in the description box. And thank you all for listening. I appreciate you all. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all on the next one. Bye.